Hello everyone, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today's video is a review of The Contractor. This action thriller was directed by Tariq Saleh and was released on April 1st, 2022. Before I hop into my review, if you want to support the channel, please take a second to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. We really appreciate it. This review will contain spoilers, so please continue at your own risk or click out of this video. If you're still here, thanks for staying. If there's something you want to see reviewed, leave a comment and we'll get to it. Thank you. We're hopping in 3, 2, 1. James Harper is a member of the United States Army Special Forces. He's honorably yet involuntarily discharged due to steroid usage and a knee injury. Like many veterans relying on the US government, he's on the verge of bankruptcy. He contacts a friend named Mike who works with a private military contracting company run by another veteran named Rusty. Harper's wife is unhappy about this because she wants her husband to be safe. She doesn't trust private contracting companies because she's had to go to too many funerals for many of Harper's friends. Harper is a big family man, but knowing nothing other than a military life, thanks to his controlling father, he joins Mike and Rusty. He's immediately given a $50,000 bonus to cover his debts and goes on a mission with Mike to Berlin. Their target is the research of Salim Mohammed Mohsen, a bioterrorist. Harper spends some nights outside of his home doing reconnaissance before meeting with his team. He's informed that Mohsen graduated from Harvard and was awarded funds to study flu viruses, but his grants weren't extended, and a man with ties to a terrorist organization has extended his funding. They execute their mission and it mostly goes according to plan. However, command tells them to pull a Code X, meaning kill Salim and make it look like an industrial accident. Before they kill him, Salim says his research will save millions of lives, so Harper begins to have doubts about the mission. As they're leaving the building, they get into a firefight with the Berlin police. They had a team of 4 and 2 of the members died, so only Mike and Harper escape. Unfortunately, Mike was shot, so Harper performs a blood transfusion. Mike is good to go, but Harper isn't because of his knee, so they agree to meet at their hotel in 24 hours and Mike leaves with the data. After resting a bit, Harper heads out. He makes it to their hotel and finds fresh clothes and medicine left by Mike, but Mike isn't there and doesn't show up at their appointed time. Harper heads to the extraction point and gets a call from Rusty saying that Mike never made it to the hotel. This is very suspicious and Harper notices several men surrounding him. They then pull out guns and start shooting at him, killing civilians. Miraculously, they miss every shot even at close range with automatic weapons, so Harper escapes into the sewers where he fights 2 guys in hand-to-hand combat. He kills one of them and injures the other, who then explains he was an ex-US Marine. The dying man gives him a phone, a safe house address, and a code to temporarily call off the other men hunting him. Harper then goes back to Salim's house and asks his wife if he kept his research anywhere else. She explains that he had a safety deposit box at the bank, so they go together to retrieve it. He then heads to a safe house and meets Virgil, a doctor, who treats him there. Harper finds out that Salim had found a vaccine for H1N1, but as they're eating dinner, Virgil is shot in the head. Harper takes cover and escapes by creating an explosion with a candle and an open gas valve. He finally makes it to an airport and flies back to the US. He believes Mike is dead and goes to his home to tell his family, but is shocked when he finds out Mike is alive. He confronts Mike and Mike explains that Rusty stated Harper died and has been providing for his family. He encourages Harper to disappear, but Harper refuses, so together they get payback on Rusty. They infiltrate Rusty's compound and kill all of his guards. Rusty and Mike are in a shootout and Mike is fatally wounded, but Harper kills Rusty. Rusty dies on a car ride back and the film ends with Harper reaching his family. I thought there were some relevant and realistic themes and tones in this film. As an example, the idea that the government uses and disposes of their military forces is accurate and hits hard. The idea that contracting companies hire and abuse men that are financially down also hits hard. I enjoyed the tone of the film. It felt like it was the right amount of serious. However, something slightly negative is that the plot was predictable. It was obvious that Rusty and his private company would be the bad guys. When it comes to the acting, I'm a little biased because I really like Chris Pine as an actor. I think he did well in his role as a Special Forces member. He certainly looks the part and brought emotion to the character. I also enjoyed the acting by Ben Foster as Mike. He looks like a military member and fits his role perfectly. I also enjoyed Jillian Jacobs as Brienne, Harper's wife, but I also felt she was underutilized. Eddie Marsan is a good actor and I enjoyed his presence in the film, but felt he could have been utilized some more too. Lastly, I liked Kiefer Sutherland as Rusty. He fit his role perfectly and did well portraying a man who felt used by the government. In general, I liked the direction of the film. Everything fit together well and made sense as things flowed from scene to scene. However, there were a couple of scenes that didn't work too well. As an example, I didn't understand how Mike and Harper escaped the Berlin police. The editing was very choppy and it seemed like they magically got away. Additionally, the plot armor Harper had didn't make sense. I couldn't wrap my mind around how a team of ex-military couldn't shoot him, especially at close range. Thankfully, the film makes up for this by taking some time to explain Harper's backstory with his father. In general, the pace of the film was good, but I felt the story could have been told in 15 to 20 minutes less. I liked the score and soundtrack of the film. There wasn't anything that stood out in particular, but it was enjoyable and it helped boost the tone of the film. I also thought the dialogue in the film was good. It made it easy to sympathize with Harper, Mike, and Rusty and see their points of view. It also made it easy to sympathize with Brienne and understand why she didn't want Harper to join a private contracting company. The cinematography of the film was good, but not necessarily great. It got the job done. done. The only scene that was exceptionally visually pleasing was when Mike and Harper escaped the Berlin police by swimming through a sewer with a flare. I stated this earlier, but some of the editing and cuts were very choppy and they made it hard to follow along with the action. Thankfully, this wasn't too common. Lastly, the production design was good, but again, nothing stood out. Overall, I found this film enjoyable. Despite being a bit predictable, it was fun seeing Chris Pines play a Special Forces character. He fit his role nicely and the plot had a solid story. The themes in the film felt relevant and realistic, and the pace of the film was generally good. The film could have made a few improvements, but I was satisfied with it. I gave this movie a 7.2 out of 10. I recommend watching this film, especially if you enjoy action thrillers and are easily entertained. In the words of Virgil, it's much easier to kill, but it's harder to survive. Thank you for listening to my review of The Contractor. If you enjoyed the content and want to support the channel, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. If there's something you want reviewed, also leave a comment and we'll get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Friends with Benefits. My name is Diego and I'll see you next time.